Hey guys, it's Woody, and I was surfing Reddit today when Ask a Capper. If you don't know him, he's another YouTuber. He's quadriplegic, so he plays with his face. He asked me, "Hey, I heard that Scuf made a special controller for your broken hand. Is that true?" And it is true. But when I live stream, people ask me, hey, tell me about your special controller. What makes it special for your broken hand? And then in the comments of my videos, people have asked, like, hey, tell me about the whatever. Like, there's an interest in this controller, so I thought, I'll make a video about it, let you guys know what the deal is. And the first half of the video is going to tell you about this special controller and why it helps me. And then the second half of the video is going to be about the controller in general. It's not meant to be an advertisement. It's just meant to, I don't know, satisfy any curiosity that people have about these things. So here we go. Let's set up the camera so that you can get a better view, and I'll show you what the deal is. All right, this is my controller. And this is my second take because I was seriously long-winded in my first take. So settle in. This might take a little bit. But what's special about this controller for my broken hand is the way the button on the back is mapped. So here's the deal. With this thumb that I have, the kind of torque that's created by both pressing down on the thumbstick and holding the controller against my own pressing down is really rough on my broken bones and torn ligaments. Like that's the problem I have. And I was scared because I make a living posting video games on YouTube, and suddenly, I've got this major problem. So I reached out to them and I was like, the buttons on the back, normally what they do for COD players is one knifes and one jumps. And the upside of that is that you can start knifing and jumping without losing your ability to aim, right? If you go to the tactical layout, which most of the top players use, all the top players use, I think. If you go to the top tactical layout, then to knife, you have to stop aiming, right? You take your thumb off that and you hit B. To jump, you have to stop aiming too. You take your knife and hit A, I think. So that's how it works. And you can't aim and jump, and you can't aim and knife at the same time, and that stinks. So what they do is they map this one to knifing and this one to jumping. That's what normal people do. For me, because I have this problem where I can't sprint, I mapped the jumping one, I should say. I still want panic knifing, but I mapped the jumping one to sprint. So I just push this forward, and when I want to sprint, put it near the mic. When I want to sprint, I just hit the button on the back and it makes the guy sprint. That enables me to play without this like exhausting holding down the thumb thing all night. And for me personally, like I'm not a very successful halo jumper. It takes a lot of skill to jump and aim and fly around corners and go prone at the same time. And I think for those long gaming sessions, I prefer to sprint all night long without getting tired, as opposed to having the ability to jump while still aiming. Because, like I said, that's the problem. When you take your thumb off here to jump or take your thumb off here to knife, then you lose your aiming at the same time. Whereas with this, you just tap it on the back and you can aim and work it. You've got all these fingers, yet you only use 4. With this, it brings in 2 more on the back. So that's a big deal. Why this might be relevant to you? Well, first off, we talked about as a COD player, you can halo, jump, and knife. But if you're a Battlefield 3 player, for example, this button plays a major role. On the Xbox, it's back, and on the PS3, I think it's set. And what happens is you can sort of light up a guy and put a triangle above his head as you spot him. So you totally lose the ability to move. You just sit here, and it usually doesn't work on the first spot, at least for me anyway. So I'm like mashing down on this back button or set button, waiting for the little spot to light up. What you can do instead is maybe map this thing to spot so that you can play and then spot them by tapping the button on the back. And I don't know, pick your favorite game, Halo, Battlefield 3, Call of Duty, whatever, and think about the annoying thing that you wish was on a thumbstick, or you wish you could do without like tapping this stupid button, which most games don't use this button, but Battlefield 3 does. So you could just map that to the back and you'd be set. So that's it. I guess, I wanted to throw in some of the other stuff. Like, people have questions when they want to order these things. And again, I didn't mean this to be an advertisement, but I just want to answer some of those questions for people that are out there. Here, to me, is why I like Scuf controllers. The buttons on the back are the #1 thing that are special to me. I find it less exhausting, and I'm able to panic knife. So, like, I play better and I play longer without getting tired, and that's a really cool thing. If I keep my rankings going, the second favorite thing are the trigger stops. So there's 2 adjustments on this. I don't know if you can make out this little guy, that controls how far this thing is already pressed. So when I go to fire, my trigger's halfway pressed already. And then the other thing is the trigger stops. So rather than have this like really long throw where I have to, pull this all the way to shoot, I have this really short throw where I can just, tap, tap, tap to shoot. And that's my second favorite thing about a Scuf controller. If I were to pick a third favorite thing, it'd probably be the rounded dome on the stick. Once you use the PS3 stick for a little while and you go back to the sort of concave ones that the Xbox has, you start to realize like, oh, rounded is better. I know I did a Control Freak video a long time ago, a couple months ago, where I said that I didn't care. Since then I've developed a preference, and I think I'm going to replace this with a Control Freak that has a dome on the top because I like the dome on the top. The other thing, for wired, I'm in the minority. It seems like the whole gaming world says I'm wrong and that the latency improvement you get by using a wire is a big deal. They say once I switch back to the wireless controller, I'll see. I haven't switched back yet because I only have one of these Xbox and one for PS3 for my broken hand. So right now I just use the wired, and the difference didn't really jump out at me at all. The difference I do notice is that I roll over it with my chair all the time, and I have a wire on my floor that I didn't used to have. So, for me, I think I prefer wireless, but I want to warn you, most people say the wired is better because your character is more responsive. You can use that information and make your own decision. The other thing, the grip on the back, here's another one where I'm in the minority. Like Sandy Ravage, I talked to him, and the grip on the back is his favorite thing about this controller. Not the buttons, not the triggers. He loves this like painting stuff that they put on the back because to him that's freaking awesome. Let me see for just one second. I was going to grab a third controller, but I don't see it right next to me. Anyway, for him, he finds the grip on the back to be the coolest thing. For me, the grip on the back isn't really a noticeable improvement. I don't really get sweaty hands when I play. Like, I've heard a lot of people say that they do, but that's just not how I'm built, I guess. So, so the little grip on the back thing and the wire are not the features I like. I like those other features, and that's it. I like the Control Freak a ton. It helps me use a higher sensitivity and still get on target. But the one downside is when you play at other people's houses, or in my case, like at a conference or, I don't know, a tournament or something. While they're always legal, you can use these in game battles. You can use these in MLG. By the way, you can use the whole controller in MLG. I'll talk about that in a second. You have to remember to bring it, and that's the hard part. Now, on the controller, some people are like, oh, modded controller, cheap, cheap, cheap. And like, I'm so happy that they're approved by MLG and game battles and every competitive scene out there, because like that solves the whole morality problem for me. Like, they're legal, they're competition legal. That's like saying you wear tennis sneakers when you play football and I wear cleats. I'm cheating. No, I just brought the right equipment to the game. That's how these things go. Like I bought shoes just for this game. That's why I'm wearing cleats. That's why I can turn better than you can in tennis sneakers. That's kind of how this controller is too. When when an MLG gamer brings this thing and competes at his LAN tournament, and you can't panic knife and he can, well, he brought the right equipment to the game. That's just the deal. So that's it. The reason that this is special is that it's mapped to sprint. If you were a Battlefield 3 player, you might want it mapped to spot. If you're a Call of Duty player, you might want them mapped to jump. And then, of course, the other thing is probably knife on all of those games. And that answers the question of why my controller is special for my broken hand. I hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, I guess I can't resist saying there are coupon codes in the description to save you. I think 5% off on the controller and 10% off on the Control Freak, if that sort of thing interests you. 2 videos you may have missed. Both of them got bad ratings, to be honest with you, so I guess that they suck. You can be the judge for yourself. On the left one is a new game type idea that I'm hoping makes it into Black Ops 2. Would be something that seems not too hard to implement. And then the right one is our Slayers bad like campers, and I talk about sort of the difference between a camper and a Slayer and an objective player. And I don't think that the videos actually sucked. I think some people just didn't like the game idea, and some people found their feelings were a little bit hurt by the Slayer one. But you can watch them for yourself and decide whether they deserve a like or a dislike, and have a good day.